Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is exciting. I did that. We are doing another wrap up. This is my second ever wrap up. So this is really exciting that we're keeping this like a little monthly tradition. We're trying out some new positions for my camera. So we did over there last time, now we're doing over here. Tell me what you guys, if you have a preference, let me know. Some of these books I read digitally and then some of them I have with me physically. This is a crazy reading month. I read 9 books in total, which is actually the most amount of books I've read each like in a month so far this year, which is crazy. Okay, the first book that I finished this month was Quicksilver by Carly Hart. This was also a reread. So we had one reread this month. I'm a rereader. I love rereading. This is basically about Sarah Spain. It's in this big fantasy world. She lives in this kind of desert town where everyone's kind of salvaging for anything that they can get. They only get a certain amount of water like each day, maybe each week. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a very big thing that like they don't get a lot of water, they don't get a lot of food, a lot of people are malnourished, and it's not a good city. And she steals water for her brother and her family friend, and she kind of pickpockets to get just the things that she needs to survive. And then she gets caught and she has to go to like the queen's palace, and she actually meets Death himself and goes into a Fae realm. And in this Fae realm, they have been fighting a war for centuries. And then we meet King Fisher. We kind of get his story throughout this book, but a little bit in the beginning, and she binds herself to him. And it's kind of like an enemies to lovers kind of vibe. They're definitely giving enemies. She has this special ability that will help her and help the city of Fae in this war. So she's very valuable to the people in the city, in like the king in the Fae realm. But yes, it goes literally, it's incredible. The fantasy world is it's definitely a little tropey, and it's definitely kind of maybe like other books that you have read if you're big into fantasy. I am just like here and there with fantasy, so honestly I enjoyed this so much, and I gave it 5 stars. Again, so good. And King Fisher, he's the one. Okay, and then we finished Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford. This one is the 3rd book in the Windy City series. It's about Kai and Miller. Kai is a single dad and Miller is a chef. Kai's been struggling to get a nanny that he feels safe with and that he can leave his kid with, because all the nannies that he has, he just like fires them. And then Miller also has to take a break from her job because she's like, I need to like recenter myself and then get back into the cooking industry. And during this summer, she actually starts babysitting Kai's child, Max, that's his name. I remembered his name. So it's very much found family, such a beautiful sports romance. For me, I love the Windy City series. You know, I love Mile High. I love Play Along. Like, these people are so close to my heart. I did give this a 2.75. I'm scared. So this I would totally recommend. Like, if you love the Windy City series, if this sounds interesting to you, little bit of like these tropes sound interesting to you, read this. I recommend it wholeheartedly. It just was such a me thing. But also I read this at a time where I was like not ready for it and I like couldn't absorb it all, and that's such a me thing. So I think that that's just like my, you know, I feel like I always read interconnected standalones and I never like love all of them. So maybe 2026 we need to find a series or an interconnected series that I love each and every book. That's my goal. But yes, we read this one. I know, it's crazy. I don't even we can move on. Okay, and then we have a DNF. I DNF'd Consider Me. This one I don't have physically with me, read it digitally, and I got 60% way into it, and I ended up DNFing it. I think I will go farther into the series. It's an interconnected hockey series, and I don't remember the characters' names. I'm trying to think. I don't know. All I remember is he's like a big playboy. Consider Me definitely was not my favorite, but I could see how people like it, and also I'm intrigued with the other characters in the other interconnected books. Okay, and then the next book we read was Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. This is about Nash and Leah. Nash is the brother of Knox, who is in the first one. That's the MMC in the first one. And I was actually super excited to get to their book this spring, because when I first read the first book, I don't know what it's called. Oh, Things We Never Got Over. That's the first book. It's blue. And it's really popular. And I read it, and I just really wasn't intrigued with their story. I was more intrigued with the third people's story. But I'm so happy that I read this because it was such a beautiful story. I gave it 4 stars. It was such a solid 4-star. Nash is going through some like inner things that he's struggling with. He's struggling with a lot of anxiety and guilt due to an injury that he has and experiences. So he's kind of working through that, and he's working through getting through each day. And then Leah comes into town because she's working. She is trying to find something, but nobody knows like really what she even does for work. Like they're like, okay, she's like an insurance person, but like we don't know. So she's here trying to find something, nobody knows. But then they kind of get to know each other more. They live right next door to each other. So that got me. I loved it. It was such a fun little romance. I loved the mental health representation and the health representation in this book. It was so beautiful. Those were one of my favorite parts, and I think that one are the ones that I will remember most about this book. And the found family in this was so amazing. I loved the found family. I was like, Lucy, I forgot how good the found family was in this interconnected series, but I enjoyed all of them. So I definitely recommend this series if you're looking for a little small town. This is when we get to something that I actually am super proud that I did. I kind of worked through my fears this month. This is crazy because I always didn't really gravitate towards like trilogies or just like series. I read some series here and there, but I don't really gravitate towards them, and they're more intimidating to me, so I just like don't really pick them up. But I did pick up a trilogy this month. We picked up the Monster Trilogy by Rena Kent, so all 3 books are right here. Do I have some stuff to say here? So we read the first book, Blood of My Monster. I gave this a solid 4-star. This one is about Sasha, and she has to go into the military to kind of protect her family, and by doing this she has to pretend to be a man, because in Russia you can't go into the military if you're a woman. So she is fully disguised as a man. It kind of gives Milan, and I loved that. That's the only thing that I knew about this trilogy, and I was super excited for that. So she is in here to try to find her family's like assassin, kind of like trying to find her family's murderer. That's what it is. So she's just trying to find more information about her family's like murderer and who was responsible for this. And then she has a captain who comes in, and his name is Kirill, and he in the first book had me. I was like, oh. And he's just trying to survey like a lot of people, just like trying to see other people, make everyone be the best that they can be. And he meets Sasha on his way, and they connect. That happens. So yes, this is a super fun book. I totally recommend this. It is a dark romance, so if you like dark romance, I recommend this. And then we read Lies of Your Monster. I'm not gonna say too much about this one because you kind of have to read the first one to then understand the second book and the third book, but I'm just gonna say that Lies of My Monster I gave a 3.75. There were some tropes in here that I just didn't really vibe with, and I was just like, I felt like they overtook some of the storyline, but I understood why they were in there, and I understood Rena Kent's writing and why she put those in there. Then we read Heart of Your Monster. This was all in a row, so this is the last book in that trilogy, and I gave it a solid 4-star. I loved this one. This one was so good too. It was such a good ending. I don't know, I don't have a lot of experience with trilogies, so maybe, I don't know, I'm just kind of like getting my toes in there, so it was definitely such a fun trilogy to go along with. I literally read Heart of Your Monster in 24 hours. I was like, I can't, like cliffhangers that Rena Kent puts you on in these books is crazy and diabolical. So if you love a good cliffhanger, recommend this. It was so crazy. I was like, what? And I love her writing. I love how she balances spice but also the plot and the storyline and the character growth. That's amazing. That's good. Okay, and then we're moving on to the arc that I got. I read this also digitally, and it is called Love on the Line. I actually read some of these books in a reading vlog. I read the whole, like, maybe Blood of Your Monster, the first book, in a reading vlog, and I also read this one in a reading vlog as well. So if you want to go check that out, probably down below. Also, some of these other books are also in a reading vlog. I don't know if that will be out yet, but I'll keep you posted. So Love on the Line, this one I got the arc of. I'm so grateful I could get this arc because this is my first arc ever, and it was so exciting for me. So I really did enjoy this book. It's a second chance romance. It's a soccer romance. It comes out May 5th, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. The second chance aspect I usually don't gravitate towards, but honestly, I loved it. I always love a good second chance, and I don't know why I don't gravitate towards it, but I definitely feel like I need to, and I'm going to try to gravitate towards it more in the months to come because I loved this book. This is part of a interconnected series, so there is 2 books in front of this one, but you can read it as a standalone. I did, and I totally connected to the characters, I think just the same, and I loved them. So basically, Otto is the MMC, and he is a famous soccer player in Germany, and he actually gets injured, so he has to take a break, and he goes to Boston to then kind of heal, and he goes to Boston to then also teach like a girls soccer team. And in that girls soccer team, there is Claire. They had actually met before, I think a couple years ago, maybe 6 years ago or something like that. And so they kind of have to navigate that together. I loved the FMC because I found myself really relating to her and really loving her storyline and how she kind of reacted to stuff and just like handled things in her inner world. Otto, the MMC, we need to like round of applause for him because he is honestly perfect. And then the last book is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Yes, we started the Rose Hill series. I'm super excited because I gave this a 4-star and I loved it. It was so good. Elsie Silver always knows how to just make such a good found family and create such like a beautiful world. I literally read this in a weekend and it was so fast paced and I just loved it. The characters were amazing. This is about Ford, who is like a son of this like famous band rock star guy, you know, so he is very in the public eye, and he kind of goes back to Rose Hill because he needs kind of an escape. He wants to just kind of recenter himself, and he goes to Rose Hill because he used to go there every summer when he was a kid, and he used to visit and have fun with his best friend. What's his best friend's name? Wes. West? West. Wes? I don't know if it's West or Wes. I think it's West because his name's Weston. Okay, we're just gonna say West. So he used to visit his best friend Wes in Rose Hill, and his best friend's sister Rosie. And then Rosie also goes back to Rose Hill because she gets fired from her job and she just needs to also reset. She's like, let me like take a breath before I go and find a new job. So when she's at Rose Hill, she goes to Ford and she's like, hire me to be like your assistant. And she's like, honestly, when have I ever said no to you? That was such a good part in this book. Okay, back to what I was saying. He hires her and it's a little workplace romance vibe. Loved that. Yeah, that's basically it. Oh, I forgot a key part of this storyline. Someone knocks on Ford's door. Hey, and he opens the door. He finds out that he has a daughter, a 12-year-old daughter he didn't know anything about. And her name is Cora, and she's also a baddie. Love her. I usually don't like older children that are in books. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know. But she is such a queen, and she has to stay at his house because her mom needs to go to a like facility to handle her depression. So she has that to handle, and it's so fun seeing Cora just like grow, and like her growth in this is so fun, and I loved her. She's such a queen. And also this series is like a single dad series, which is so crazy. I didn't even know that, but yeah, I was like, wait, now I'm like gravitating. I need more. Yes, I really enjoyed this book and I gave it solid 4-star. Loved it. This is Best Friend's Sister, and I haven't read too much about like, you know, best friend sister trope, but I really enjoyed this one. This one is so good. Found family, again, love it. The characters, Ford kind of gave me like a brick wall, but like hot, you know what I mean? Rosie actually had such beautiful little banter. She was such a queen. I loved her character, and I loved kind of how she handled things. That is my April wrap up. I can't believe we're gonna be in May. I'm filming this a little bit early, so it's still April, but yes, this is my April wrap up. I'm so excited we got to do this again. I might do like a May TBR, I don't know, but I want to start buying more books so I can do more like physical wrap-ups and also have them physically to do vlogs and stuff. So if you have any recommendations for me, let me know. This is all I have today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.